Hello and welcome to today's discussion. The month of August is the first month of scheduling of interviews for new diversity visa cases. That is, those who saw that they were selected from the results released in the month of May begin to be scheduled for interview as of the month of August. So as we enter the month of August, I'm here to remind you of a number of things that you must be aware of as new diversity visa applicants as interview scheduling kicks off for the DV 2023 program. So let's go into that. Welcome back. The first thing I would like to remind you of has to do with problems that the diversity visa program has experienced over the last few years. In my last video, I explained a number of those problems that came about due to measures that the State Department put in place as a result of COVID-19. Those measures did not only affect the program at the level of the various embassies and consulates, they also had a negative impact on the processing of cases and the scheduling of interviews at KCC, and that caused a high level of confusion in the diversity visa program in the last few years. And because of that, many of you have become concerned and you have been asking what is going to happen in the case of DV 2023. We cannot say with certainty how things are going to play out in the DV 2023 program, but from all indications so far, the DV 2023 program is expected to be a much better administered program as compared to other programs in recent years. There are a number of reasons why I'm saying that, and I'm going to expose those reasons in another video. But as a DV 2023 applicant, just have in mind that all things being constant, your program is expected to be a better one. And then in addition to that, pray that on the global stage, things remain as normal as they are, or that they even improve. Because if things should deteriorate on the global stage, then it means that the DV program will also be affected. The second thing I would like to remind you of is the requirement you have to meet after you get selected. As most of you are already aware, when you are selected in the diversity visa lottery, there are a number of requirements you have to meet in order for your case to be processed and considered for interview scheduling. In the case of DV 2023, there is only one requirement so far, and that requirement is the submission of your DS-260. When you submit your DS-260, depending on your case number, you can look forward to be scheduled for interview sometime during the fiscal year. And that takes us to the third point, that is the submission of required documents to KCC. As most of you are aware, for the past few years, diversity visa applicants have been required to submit a list of supporting documents to KCC as part of their application process. But since December 9 last year, that procedure was removed from the DV 2022 program, and since that time we have not received any notification from the State Department as to whether DV 2023 applicants will need to submit supporting documents to KCC. So as things stand, DV 2023 applicants are not required to submit supporting documents to KCC as part of their application process. That is why I said earlier that there is only one requirement, which is the submission of your DS-260. Now, in this situation, a number of scenarios may play out. August being the first month of scheduling of interviews, much attention will begin to be given to the DV 2023 program as of this month of August. And so it is possible that sometime this month we receive the notification requesting DV applicants to submit a list of required documents to KCC. That's the first scenario. It is also possible that as applicants begin to receive their interview notifications for the DV 2023 program, those notifications be accompanied by requests to send in supporting documents to KCC. But in case that doesn't happen before interviews kick off in the month of October, then it means that those who will be scheduled for the earliest interviews will not have to submit documents to KCC. Now, another possible scenario is that after interviews kick off, the State Department may come up with that decision to request that applicants submit their documents to KCC. That is what we experienced in the case of DV 2019 when the submission of documents was introduced in the DV program. That is, those who had the earliest interviews did not submit documents to KCC, but then after a number of weeks, the State Department came up with that decision, and then subsequent applicants were requested to submit their documents. And then in the case of DV 2022, quite recently, those who applied early on in the program were required to submit supporting documents, whereas those who applied after December 9, 2021 were not required to do so. So that is why it is important to keep following these updates as we provide them, because at any point during the fiscal year, some vital piece of information may break, and in case you are not following, you may go about doing what is not required or not doing what is required. Now, a final thing on this third point, whether you are requested to submit your supporting documents to KCC or not, you will have to take those documents along with you to your diversity visa interview. And that takes us to point number 4, which has to do with the visa bulletin. I've indicated that on a number of occasions. If you were selected from the results that were published in the month of May, it is from the month of August that you have to begin to follow the visa bulletin. Now we are in the month of August, and the visa bulletin in question is expected to be published sometime next week. When that happens, we will have the opportunity to discuss the bulletin in detail. But for the time being, just be aware that that visa bulletin is going to show the first cutoffs for the DV 2023 program. And once your case number falls below the cutoff for your region and you have submitted your DS-260, then you can look forward to being scheduled for interview during the month of October. And that takes us to point number 5, which has to do with your interview notification. Once the visa bulletin has been published, from the middle of the month to the end of the month, that is when you can expect to receive your interview notification in case your case number falls below the cutoff that is shown for your region in the visa bulletin and you have submitted your DS-260. But as the program goes on, God willing, we will have the opportunity to discuss these issues. And that takes us to point number 6, which has to do with the regional queue system. At the beginning of this video, I mentioned that the DV 2023 program is expected to be much better administered as compared to other programs in recent years. And once that happens, it means that the system of regional queues will apply, which means that scheduling of interviews will take into consideration the entire region and not the prevailing situation at individual embassies and consulates, as has been the problem with the DV 2022 program. So let's keep our fingers crossed so that things remain as they are or even improve so that you can experience the DV program as it is actually meant to be. With the regional queue system, we can look forward to consistency in timing from the publication of the visa bulletin to the sending out of interview notifications to the conduct of the interviews themselves, which is our final point in this video, but we will go into detail in our next video. So that is it. This is just to remind you of things that you must be aware of as DV 2023 applicants as we enter the first month of interview scheduling for your program. And that brings us to the end of today's video. Thanks for watching it. And if you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment area below. And I will see you, God willing, in the next video. Goodbye.